HorrorCon day 2. Just waiting on a taxi to get us there in a minute. Looking a lot more normal today. Yeah, got to tick off some bits that we missed yesterday. A couple of different Q&As. Some bits seemed to clash, so I definitely did the best day yesterday of planning what we were looking at. Yeah, good fun though.
Do what we can do.
It's such a big building. Day 2. Dun dun dun. I'm sure we left them like this last night.
Yeah.
Cheapest grips with wings. That's wicked.
You'll have seen the first part of our interview with the Stuntman and Jason Vorhees extraordinaire, Mr. Kane Hodder. We're about to introduce Kane back to the stage for part 2, so if you'll put your hands together please for Mr. Kane Hodder.
Love that Part 8 music.
Okay, welcome back, Kane.
Thank you. Good to be back.
You've actually preempted, there's something psychic going on here, because you've preempted my first question. Tell us all about the Hollywood Ghost Hunters.
Oh. Yeah, it's a group that I co-founded with my buddy Rick McCollum. He's a stuntman also that, you know, I've been working together since 1981. And we realized we both loved the idea of the paranormal and ghost hunting, and so we've developed a group, a serious ghost hunting group, but the difference is all the members of our group have something to do with horror films. Making them, either actors, stunt people, directors, makeup effects. So it's kind of an interesting group of people that to try and see if we can be scared when we're used to creating things to scare other people. So, and no, I don't really have any good ghost stories because, as I have been talking about, maybe some of you have already heard this, but I think you have to be very careful when you're investigating the paranormal because everybody wants to have a story. So people tend to exaggerate the smallest instance to make it a good story. So I'm very careful to not do that, and also the power of suggestion is just so huge in ghost hunting that if you hear an EVP recorded at an event or something and it sounds like nothing until somebody says they thought it sounds like so-and-so, and now it does. So you have to be very careful about that. And I'm I believe that there can be paranormal activity in the world, but it's really got to be convincing for me to be excited about it. But I'm open-minded, so hopefully one day something really cool will happen. People always say, well, the ghosts are afraid of you, and that's ridiculous. But it does seem to be that every time I leave an area during an investigation, something happens there after I leave. So it is pretty coincidental, but several times that exact thing has happened. I'll even say it. I'll say, okay, I'm going to walk away. Like we're in the Sloss Furnaces. It's a famous haunted area, and there's a tunnel underneath the ground. And I said, we all had the meters, and I said, watch, as soon as I walk to the other end, something will happen here. And sure enough, I walked to the other end, the meters went crazy, and somebody felt themselves be shoved from behind. And I said, you know, why does that happen when I leave? Why couldn't it be me? Because I won't, if I say something happened, then it really happened, and I didn't exaggerate it. So, not that people in my group do that, but sometimes people exaggerate things unconsciously, really.
It's been a real pleasure both yesterday and today speaking to you. Would you put your hands together for Mr. Kane Hodder? Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for staying with me.
Why don't you guys come and sit over here? Then I don't have to keep swiveling all the way around. And I can. Is that okay? I mean, I don't want, you know, don't want to.
We're going to lay down.
Fine.
Had a good cue.
And I hope an A as well. Boom, boom.
Stuff, fine man. So, you're from the States, and here you are in the UK. Did you get over to the UK much these days?
Well, it's 2.5 years since I was here, but 2.5 years ago was when I left to go and live permanently in the States. So I have I'm green carded at the moment. I'm a resident alien. It's my official status in the United States. I knew he had been human, and I had no idea when. So I didn't know whether this was an accident that happened last week, last year, 10 years ago, 100 years ago. I have no idea. But one of the many things I felt about Pinhead, and I gained a lot of my impressions of the character in about 20 minutes, sitting in front of the mirror the first time I got the makeup on. And one of the things I felt was a sense of melancholy. And that's something I tried to put into the playing of him, an undertow of melancholy, which I attached to a memory of a humanity, or an awareness of a humanity that he couldn't remember. Which also explained to me why he's so damn interested in human beings. Because he doesn't just jump out and tear your soul apart. He stops to have a conversation, and he wants to ask you about you. He wants to find out about your dreams and your fears and your desires and so forth. And then he'll tear your soul apart. So I had all that in my head, but it was all non-specific, and we had never talked about a backstory. So the backstory appeared in brief in Hellbound, but it was very brief. And I'd got some flavour of what it meant when we meet Elliot Spencer at the beginning of Hellbound. He's in northern India. He's dealing with the Indian mutinies. So he survived the First World War. I assumed, and he's serving in the British Army somewhere in India. And for whatever reasons, pursuing the Lament configuration. There would have been more scenes with Elliot at the beginning of Hellbound, Hey, Britain was doing what Britain does best, orchestrating another financial crisis. Was it Black Monday or Purple Wednesday or something had hit? It was when Norman Lamont was it Chancellor, or is that before his time? I can't quite remember. Anyway, so it's like late 1988 or 89, somewhere around about there. Just as they were about to transfer the budget from LA to London, and the change in exchange rates was enough to wipe 1/3 off the budget. And New World couldn't make up the extra money. There was indeed some discussion about delaying the production or cancelling it altogether. But they decided to go ahead. But obviously, when you've lost 1/3 of your budget, you have to start compromising a lot of plans for the production, and the additional scenes of Elliot, which would have been the familiar expositional scenes of which we revisited slightly in Hellraiser 3, that he would have been in an Indian street bazaar and tracking down, the little old man who would bargain with him and sell him the box before we get to the scene in the Quonset hut where he opens the box. But those earlier scenes, being really expositional, were cut. So we just dive straight into the Quonset hut.
Mr. Bradley.
Thank you, guys.
Stick around, we've got the